How's everybody feel? How did that feel to everybody? Did you feel like dancing?
Good morning and happy Saturday. Welcome to our first ARP Michigan Rhythm Circle for 2022. My name is Kimberly Bishop. I'm Associate State Director, and we bring you these sessions because there's a connection between music and brain health, and they're really just a lot of fun. If you've joined us before, thanks for coming back. And if this is your first time, welcome. We're going to do things a little different today because we want to recognize and honor the fact that this is Martin Luther King weekend, with the holiday being observed on Monday. So today, rather than talk a lot about the connection between music and brain health, we'd like to talk a little bit about Dr. King. So if you weren't aware, Dr. King was born into a home where music played an important role. His mother, Alberta King, was an extremely talented singer and instrumentalist who served as the director of the choir and church organist at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. While studying at the Divinity School at Boston University, Dr. King met Coretta Scott, who was enrolled at the New England Conservatory of Music. She also directed her choir at her home church. Dr. King always recognized the power of music as an instrument of change. As time went on, King also began to extol the virtues of jazz, referring to it as triumphant music. In a piece written in recognition of the 1964 Berlin Jazz Festival, King wrote, "God has wrought many things out of oppression. He has endowed his creatures with the capacity to create, and from this capacity has flowed the sweet songs of sorrow and joy that have allowed man to cope with his environment and different situations. Jazz speaks for life. The blues tell the story of life's difficulties. And if you think for a moment, you'll realize that they take the hardest realities of life and put them into music, only to come out with some new hope or sense of triumph." So today, we'd like you to think about music and how it can be a source of triumph in your life. And I would like to introduce our leader today, Mr. Kevin Bujo Jones. And I'd like Kevin to talk a little bit about music and its impact in his life. And he will then lead us into a rhythm circle. And Kevin, welcome, and lovely Martine, his accompanist. So good morning, and thank you for being with us.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My accompanist and wife.
I think I said that first, the wife part.
Yeah, my accompanist and wife. Well, that's the wife part is the most important, obviously. And I'd like to thank you all for getting up this morning and participating in our rhythm circle. Obviously, it's a special weekend, special time. Dr. King was very, very influential in not only in a broad sense, in a macro sense, but in a micro sense to a lot of our lives that grew up in the Black community. And during his time, while he was here on earth, he affected change and brought about a lot of change in society. And the music of that time reflected that. But I really want to just talk about just a little bit about the importance of music in my life. You know, I grew up in a household that on Sundays we weren't allowed to play any kind of secular music. Otherwise, the records would get broken. We couldn't play James Brown or Sly and the Family Stone. Otherwise, those records would get broken. We had to listen to Mahalia Jackson and, you know, other gospel figures. But at any rate, music is such an important part of many of our lives. If you can imagine watching a movie without music, set to music, it sets the mood, it sets the tone, it makes you think, it makes you move. And this goes out throughout, you know, society of, you know, the people of the African diaspora, how music brings joy into situations where there may not be any joy, despite difficult living conditions. You know, music brings about joy. So that's why we're here, to have joy. And so I'd like to just jump into what we're going to do today. Like always, if you don't have a drum, what we have here today is we're playing two djembe drums. Djembe, spelled D-J-E-M-B-E, djembe. Martine has a djembe, I have a djembe. The djembe drum is from West Africa, from the Mande people, the Manding or Malinke people. If you don't have a drum, find something like a container of some sort. Or if you don't feel like using your hands, you can grab a container filled with something. This is popcorn, and you can use it as a shaker to just keep time. You don't have to be a professional musician to be able to participate. You can clap the rhythms out. You can use a shaker. Okay, so like always, I always start with the three basic sounds of the drum, which are tone, bass, and slap. Just going to demonstrate that for you. So I want you to repeat after me. When you play a tone sound, you're going to come towards the edge of your drum, not all the way back here with your fingertips, but you know, make sure that your knuckles are on the rim of the drum. And you just come down with your hand flat, but relaxed. Don't hit hard, don't strain yourself. So it sounds like this. So repeat after me. Very good. Thank you, Martine. So that's a tone sound. The bass sound, you utilize your palm and all your fingers, and you play you put your hand towards the middle of the drum. It doesn't have to be all the way here. It could be back here. And you just come down, you strike the drum and come off the drum, like so. Hold on one second. Okay, so that's the bass sound. Now, the last sound, the slap sound, is a lot more difficult, and I usually don't give it to beginners, but please don't stress yourself if you can't do it, but I'm going to demonstrate it anyway. Okay, so the slap sound sounds like this. What I'm doing is I'm striking the drum here, and the energy is focused on your fingertips. and you're letting your fingertips actually slap the drum. Unlike the tone where your energy is in here, towards the knuckles here, and these digits in here of your finger, your energy is focused on your fingertips. So repeat after me. Just try your best to make a slap sound. If you can't do it, it's fine. Don't stress about it. Uh-huh. Very good. Okay, so tone, bass, and slap. So let's look at a pattern, a very simple pattern that's going to utilize all three sounds. Now, if you can't play a slap, if it feels uncomfortable to you, play a tone. Okay? So the first sound is a bass, and the next two sounds are tones. So you're going to play bass, tone, tone. Again. Very good. So we're going to play bass, tone, tone, and then we're going to add a slap. Okay? So you can use, I'm playing it right, right, left, right. So you could do it whichever way you want to do it. So you don't have to follow my hand pattern. You could play it like that. Play it like that, left hand. So let's go very slowly and play this rhythm very slowly. Bass, tone, tone, slap. Bass, tone, tone, slap. Bass, tone, tone, slap. Bass, tone, tone, slap. So the pulse is here. Bass, tone, tone, slap. Bass, tone, tone, slap. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, ready, begin. Very good. Very good. All right. So I'm going to demonstrate now. If you don't have a drum and you just have a shaker, in this case, a jar of popcorn, we're utilizing this as our shaker. This is an example. And this is what I used to do as a child. I used to take my mom's pots and pans and play on them, and try to make rhythms with the pots and pans, and much to her displeasure, obviously, because she was having pans and pots with the dents in them and everything else. But I would grab things like the salt and pepper shakers, and salt be all over the place. Anyway, so you can utilize this as a shaker. So I'm going to ask Martine to play that rhythm. I'll start you out, and you can use this shaker. So I'm going to play the shaker for those of you that just have a shaker. So how you can utilize this. So you think you can repeat that rhythm?
I'll try it.
Bass, tom, tom, slap. Bass, tom, tom, slap. Very good. Very nice.
Thank you.
Please give my wife Martine a very big hand, a virtual round of applause. Go ahead, Martine. All right. So that's one rhythm that you could play. Very simple, 4 notes. Bass, tom, tom, slap. Bass, tom, tom, slap. Bass, tom, tom, slap. Bass, tom, tom, slap. So you can also create your own rhythms at home. So what is a rhythm? A rhythm is, for our purposes, is a group of sounds that we put together that form a pattern and repeat over and over again. So you could make up your own rhythm. You could do what you do. You could be in the car and in traffic, not while you're driving, or waiting in the parking lot for somebody, or just sitting around at home. You can make your own rhythm. It doesn't matter if you're an expert. You don't have to be an expert drummer, a master drummer, as they say, or a musician, a professional musician. You can just tap out your own rhythm. You can. Tap it out. 1, 2. Doesn't even have to be that complicated. You can 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Easy, simple things, and that keeps your mind working, keeps your brain functioning. Okay. So we're going to go and add to the rhythm that we just played.
All right.
Okay. So Martine, would you play the rhythm? Good. Okay. So what was I doing? So I'm playing a rhythm that complements Martine's part, right? So all I'm playing is 2 notes, basically. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if you notice, there's a call and response pattern that's set up. So when I'm playing a tone, she's playing a bass, right? Tone, 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 tone. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2, Okay? So let's try that again. So we're going to do it a little bit slower. So I'm going to start with Martine, and I'm going to start with her and play the same pattern, and then I'm going to switch, okay, and play the new pattern, which is just 2 notes, only 2. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and tone, 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 2, 3. Tone, tone, 2, 3. Okay. So let's start out. We're going to play bass, tone, tone, flat, bass, tone, tone, flat. You got to keep going.
You got me.
Okay, so that's all right. That's all right. It's cool. You know. Keep going. 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. Very good. Nice. Very good. So today we're going to do something different. We're going to, when I teach children, young children, I do a thing called the call and response game. So I play something and then you play it back to me. So call, I make the call, and you respond by playing the same thing as I do. Okay. Can we do it out there? Can we do call? Can I do call and response with you guys? Okay, good. I heard you all the way here in Michigan. Yay. All right. So Here we go. Very good. So that keeps you on your toes. Well, life isn't fair, baby. No, I'm kidding. All right. So, the reason why I do that is because you have to think fast, right? You have to, what did they just do? What did he just do? What did she just do? So you have to, it's also about counting. So when I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Ba, 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 ba. Clave, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. But you have to process that faster, and that helps your brain to work. So, we're dealing with really a lot of people get into drumming not because they want to become professional, but this is really a program to help improve your brain health and to think fast, to think on your feet. I can't do it all the time. If somebody was to do that, if I was the one being the responder, I probably would be like, hey, wait a minute, what did he just do? So it's okay if you don't get it all, but it helps you. It really helps you. Okay. So let's move on. We're going to move on to another rhythm that we did some time ago. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. And this rhythm has 5 notes. Okay. 5 notes. All right. Just going to start again. So it's 3 slaps and 2 tones. 3 slaps and 2 tones. Okay, so we're going to start out. I'm playing right hand slap, left hand slap, right hand slap. So it sounds like this. Ta, ki, ta. Right, left, right. Slap, slap, slap. Uh-huh. Slap, slap, slap. Very good. Now, we're going to add 2 tones to that. Okay? So just try that, 2 tones. Right, left. Good. Okay, so now put them both together. Slap, slap, slap. Right, left, right, right, left. Slap, slap. Just keep going. Okay, so we got faster and faster.
And you lost me.
I lost you. Maybe I lost some of you when we first met up. But, you know, drumming is challenging. It's not the easiest thing to do. Knowing rhythm is sometimes very difficult, understanding rhythm. So, you know, we all come from different places and different situations. To some people, it may come easy. To some people, it may be harder. But that's the challenge. So we challenge ourselves every day. Well, I should say it's important to challenge ourselves every day, whether you get up in the morning and you do exercises or run or do a 2-mile walk or something. You know, if we challenge ourselves every day to become better, then, you know, that's how we advance, you know. And being Dr. King's weekend, the Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, we should challenge ourselves also in other ways. Challenge ourselves in being kind to each other, challenging ourselves to be people of integrity, you know. So these are some of the principles that led Dr. King's life. So I'm going to try to do that myself. And, you know, I hope you do too. So let's move on. Let's move on to a rhythm that we studied that's kind of a staple in our our series, Rhythm Circle. Some of the parts to cuckoo. Now, just so I have a little bit of explanation about what we're doing here is in African drumming as a whole, and specifically when you're talking about djembe is very rarely played by itself traditionally. Usually they have a set of what we call dunumba or dunes, which consist of 3 drums. The dunumba, it's a big drum. The next drum, that's the middle drum, is called the sangban, and a smaller drum called the kankani. Now, these drums provide a lot, most of the time, actually all the time, they actually provide the melody of the rhythm, or what I like to call is like the bass line of the rhythm, you know. And the djembe parts fit on top of that. But since we're not demonstrating traditional drumming necessarily here today, and I can't fit an entire djembe orchestra in our living space. We're going to forego that today. Maybe at some point we'll work with that. But let us go back to cuckoo, K-U-K-U, cuckoo. For some of you that are completely novice or just tuning in, this would be a first time for you. But for many that have been following the series, the monthly series, you'll kind of remember it, okay? So we had what we call a signal or a break, the basic rhythm pattern, and we had two other parts that we've learned over the past 8 or 9 months, okay? So let's start with the basic part to cuckoo, which is very simple. It's only 4 notes, and that is, first note would be a slap sound. Next note, a bass sound, okay? And then 2 tones. So I'm gonna play it very slow, and I'm gonna ask Martine to play after me. So Martine is representative of all of you out there. So I'm gonna play, and then I want you guys to play, okay? So I'm gonna play slap, bass, very good. Slap, bass, slap, bass. Slap, bass. Slap, bass. Slap, bass. Slap, bass. bass drum. Slap 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 bass drum. Okay, slap bass drum. Keep going. Slap bass drum. Slap bass drum. Slap bass drum. Slap bass drum. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, signal. Very good. Very good. So I see that we are coming to the end of our time together. Oh, I could do this all day. Maybe not Martine, but I could go on a lot longer. So there is two questions. A question: is the bass always center while the tones are at the perimeter? Yes, exactly. So it's from Jacqueline. Jacqueline. So Jacqueline, the bass doesn't have, when you play a bass sound, you can move your hand towards the center of the drum, like so. So I'm going to tilt my drum so you could see it a little bit more, hopefully. Right? Then when you move your hand back, that's where you're going to play your tone. But you don't want to move your hand. I see a lot of people that they play here. That's not the proper way to get the true sound of the drum. Right? Then you have a slap sound, which is also towards the edge of the drum. So I hope that answers your question. So, and then what do you the last question from Dory Phillips: what do you recommend to cover rings that can't be removed? They damage the drum heads? I'm not really sure to cover the rings. Oh, okay. Oh, they can't be. You shouldn't play with rings on. They do damage the drum head. Finger rings. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm married, so I usually take my ring off, you know. So, but if you can't get your ring off, I would cover it with like sports tape, but that still will kind of damage the drum. It depends on where your rings are. So if your ring is on your pinky, not so much. But if it's on your ring finger, you let this one here. I don't know what to tell you. Get some olive oil, something, or some soap, and try to get your ring off. If not, I would cover it with sports tape, maybe. I'm not really sure how to answer that because if you really get into drumming, then you could also damage your finger as well as a drum. So try your best to get the ring off and put it someplace safe. Martine has a ring on her thumb that she can't get off, but your thumbs aren't really hitting the surface of the drum too much, and it doesn't really interfere. But I would try to get it off if you can. If not, then you have to cover it with some sports tape. That's the only thing I could say. But I wouldn't recommend playing the hand drum with a ring on. Anyway, so they're asking about rubber bands. You mean around the ring? I suppose so. It might work.
Cushion sports tape.
But they have cushion sports tape. But that's what I would recommend. I don't really know about rubber bands because it might move. Not sure. I've never seen that before. But I would also be wary of rubber bands because it cuts off your circulation.
Mm-hmm.
So try to get the rings off. That's the best way. So anyway, so it's time for us to close because we were supposed to go for 45 minutes. We will see you next month. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but we will post it on our AARP Michigan. It's 2/19, I think February 19th, right? At 10 a.m. And 2/20. I'm sorry, February 20th. Okay, it's the third Saturday of the month. Third Saturday of the month. And we start at 10 a.m. We were starting at 11 a.m. Kind of threw me off this morning. But please take care of yourself in this time of COVID, this time of severe winter weather. And I'm praying for all of my folks around the country that are in the path of this new winter storm. We have relatives that are in North Carolina, and it's supposed to have an ice storm. And mainly, let us really on Dr. King, the celebration of Dr. King's weekend, really, really focus on being people of integrity, people that are kind, people that really, really will do something for someone else. Try to think about it that way rather than, I got a day off on Monday and it's a sale or something, So really, really focus on that and doing things for others. So with that, we're going to leave you and we will see you next month in February, the third Saturday. Honor Dr. King on Monday. The time is always right to do what's right. Exactly. So be kind to each other, stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.